What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chopsticks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, I am really excited today because we're gonna be going to a place that's actually caught my attention a couple of weeks back when we went to do the all-you-can-eat bottomless brunch Spanish buffet. Basically, right next door, there's a place called Maguro's. Honestly, it looks really, really good. It is literally a Latin and Asian fusion restaurant, and they do serve some very interesting sushi, I guess, because it's sushi, but it has plantains, and it doesn't have any seafood. It looks like it's literally avocado and, like, you know, steak and things like that, and it looks really, really good. I don't know if that technically would be qualified as sushi at that point, but it is a Latin fusion place. I'm really excited. I am very hungry, and Danny and I are about to head out and head over there. So buckle up, guys. I'm really excited to show this place off. I'm really hoping that it ends up being a really good addition to our long list of good restaurants here in Orlando. Let's head out. All right, guys, awesome. So we are here, we made it. I literally took like 20 minutes with Danny just looking over the menu. They have a ton of items. They're all pretty relatable. So for example, it's me and Danny were talking. They have like maybe 16 different types of sushi. But in all honesty, like when sushi, if you just replace one thing in the sushi, you could just name it a whole different one. So that is something to keep in mind. Right now, they do have a special. What we're ordering is only available till the end of the month. It is a 100-piece sushi for $100, which is crazy. And in my opinion, it's a pretty good deal if it ends up being good quality sushi. So that is something that you guys really need to keep in mind. Normally, I believe that it's $122 and you get 100 pieces of sushi. So it is a special that they're having right now. I'm gonna show you right here. It is like the Valentine month special. So all of these are gonna go away. I tried to really limit to just that on this menu because I wanna make sure that I show you guys what it typically is. With that said, we ordered literally 10 different types of sushi with that, as well as we ordered a few other items that I don't wanna go into right now. I wanna just show you guys as soon as it starts coming out. But in all honesty, yes, they have some pretty close to authentic, or at least pretty close to actual Asian sushi and food, but they do have a Latin fusion going on with a lot of their dishes. Like some of the sushi that I mentioned has like steak and plantains. They have some shrimp and plantains, and just quite a few different items that are really interesting to me. So enough talking, I'm gonna go ahead and just wait until the food comes out and we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. All right, guys, excellent. So we ended up ordering a ton of items. We have a couple of items out now. So I'm gonna try to move some stuff out of the way so you guys can see. But the first thing we're gonna go ahead and show you is this right here. This is called el sanguichito. Essentially, it's basically like a sushi burrito, sushi sandwich. Let's check this out. All right, so this right here, like I said, it's a sanguichito. This is essentially, it is their sushi burrito. Basically, you have everything that you normally would have in a sushi roll. So you have avocado in there, you have raw tuna, you have rice, you have nori, and then you have it all deep fried in panko. I can't wait. Let's go ahead and try this out. I'm not 100% sure what the sauce is, but let's try it out and see what it is. So the inside's nice and crispy. I actually think this is salmon. You have the avocado, nice and creamy. You have the rice. It is a little mushy, but I'm guessing it's because it was deep fried. I still can't put my finger around that sauce. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but the outside is super crunchy. This is pretty dang good. And this is considered one of their appetizers. All right, the next thing we're gonna try out here is gonna be the Ropa vieja egg roll. This looks really good. You guys gotta check this out. So this right here, it's nice and fried. Very juicy on the inside, nice and fresh. It has plantains. You have Ropa vieja, and you have this semi-sweet sauce. I think it's garlic aioli, but it's a little bit sweet. Let's go ahead and try that out, guys. That is delicious. The inside, super flavorful, super juicy. You have the freaking plantain, like I mentioned, adds this level of sweetness to it. The egg roll itself, super thin dough, super crispy, great to the bite. There's a nice crunch when you bite down into it. Guys, that egg roll was fantastic. We're gonna move over because this has been in front of me this whole time. You guys gotta check this out. This right here, that's the rib. Now they do have two flavors. They have like a regular, I think they have teriyaki ribs. We decided to go with their fancy one, which is guava kimchi ribs. I'm really excited. Let's check this out. So just look at this. You have some black and white sesame. You have a little bit of green onion for garnish. So this is like a regular fork. This is like big boys right here. This is like huge ribs right here. We're gonna go ahead and try this out and see how it is. I'm gonna try a bite from the top. Guys, these ribs are phenomenal. They're not quite fall off the bone, but they're nice, soft, and tender. Super delicious. The sauce is cooked down so much. It's more like a glaze, so it coats it. It's nice and thick. Honestly, just this is one amazing piece of rib here. Ooh. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna try out, I can't remember the exact name. It'll be down on the bottom when I show it. You just gotta check this out, man. All right, so the rice is cilantro lime rice. You have avocado on the top. You have the black and white sesame seeds. You have some sweet plantains, and you have some of the ropa vieja. It is a little dark for my liking, but it's because the outside layer always dries up and all the juices are on the inside. We're gonna go ahead and try this out and see how it is. Right, first things first, we're gonna try this rice here. I love the presentation, but here we go. So the cilantro is the star of that. After that, you get a little bit of the rice taste, and then you have a kind of a kick of acidity in the background from the lime, from the citrus, not acidity. It's different. Of course, after having the rib, I feel like it might need a little bit more salt, but then again, I'm trying the rice on its own. Maybe if I put it all together, get a little bit of meat, a little bit of that rice, it'll change up the flavor profile just a little bit. Let's try that out. Ropa vieja is really good. The outside is a little bit dry, but as you start getting into the inside, you start chewing it, you start getting a little bit of the juices from the internal part of the meat. I'm gonna go ahead and just get a little bit of everything here. Here we go. The only thing I didn't get is the avocado. Really good, very different. It's not blowing me away like the egg roll and the ribs did, but being completely honest, it's because the ribs are like up here. The egg roll was like right here. This, let's say this is below average. This is like right here. It's still pretty high, but the ribs now were just something else. But honestly, the flavor, you taste a little bit of garlic, you taste the meat. The meat's really fatty, so you get a lot of that, like a little bit of a greasy taste to it. The rice, I just wish it had a little bit more salt, or maybe a little more umami. This is the cilantro lime rice, so keep that in mind. I feel like it was missing either a little bit of MSG, or just a little bit of salt, and I think it would have made the rice perfect. But it's pretty dang good, especially this ropa vieja here. I'm gonna try it on its own, kind of a big piece, but whatever beef they use, it's really fatty. So even though it looks dry, when you start chewing it and biting down, you do get a little bit of fat. Well, not a little bit, you get quite a bit of fat actually. You really taste it in there. Really impressed. All right guys, excellent. So here's the next part. It's gonna be the sushi. They gave us all the names. There's over 10 different ones here, and the names are very unique to this place. So you're not gonna have your typical like California, Texas, crunchy tuna. No, these are all like individualized with a little bit of a Latin kick on most of them. Let's check this out. So this is only half of them. So we get 2 of these pretty much, or I guess 4 in total, but it would be those rolls right there. The one I'm mostly excited for, I believe, is this one right here, because that's the one that, oh, I'm sorry, this one right here, because that's the one that has like the meat and the plantains, pickled red onions. I can't wait to try that one. But we're gonna go ahead and try one of each and just see how this is. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and dig into the first one here. This first one's basically cream cheese avocado. I believe it's kimchi in there, and then you have it topped off with a plantain and a cilantro sauce. All right guys, here we go. Not bad. It wasn't kimchi. It was like shrimp in there. That sauce on the top is really, really sweet. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I liked it. I enjoyed it, but the plantain's flavor is so strong, it almost overtakes everything. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one's the one that I'm really excited for. It's the one with the steak. This is the one that has like, I believe this is a tres golpes actually. Tres golpes is the Dominican roll that they have. You have plantains, you have sausage, you have fried cheese, and salami, all fried. We're gonna go ahead and try this out. All right guys, here we go. So I was wrong. I'm gonna try this on its own. So the pickled onions are a little strong. The plantain is really, really sweet. With that said, pretty good. Unfortunately, that onion, the pickling, it looks like they got it on the rice when they plated it. So it's really overpowering pretty much almost everything else, including the plantain. But it's not bad. It's pretty delicious. So the next one's falling apart. Don't really have time. It looks like it's just shrimp tempura topped off with some avocado. Let's go ahead and try that out. All right guys, we're gonna go to the next one here. Okay, this one has crab, cream cheese, topped off with the plantain as well. Let's try it out. That one was really good. The plantain itself didn't overtake the flavor on that one. You taste a little bit of that crab. Obviously it's imitation crab, but still it's pretty dang good. Let's go ahead and try the next one. This one's really good. Basically, you have avocado, cream cheese, eel sauce on the top, black and white sesame seeds. You have the rice, eel sauce, and I can't really figure out what that is. I think that's actually tempura chicken. It makes a pretty dang good flavor. All right, the next one that we're gonna go into, same thing as plantain, smoked salmon on the top, cream cheese and avocado. So like I said, all of this has just a Latin fusion In all honesty, the Latin fusion is starting to seem just to be the plantains, if I'm being honest. With that said, most of these flavors are pretty dang good. Let's go ahead and try this one out. I actually really like that one. It's really good. It has a garlic aioli and yuzu on the top. Pretty good. Now it's time to try the one that I've been most excited about. This one right here. This is the one that has steak, avocado, cream cheese, topped off with chimichurri, it looks like, as well as some plantains. Let's try this out. All right, guys, here we go. Not bad. You don't really get much of the steak in there. You kind of get the texture of the steak, but it doesn't actually do much in my opinion. It's interesting, but it doesn't blow me away going, oh my God, it's steak and a sushi, because there's so much other stuff going on that you don't really get to appreciate that taste of that steak. Maybe if that steak was more juicy, because it looks like the steak that's in there is well done. All right, guys, we're gonna go to the next one here. This one is really, really stuffed. You have avocado, you have shrimp tempura, you have the plantain, you have the cream cheese, and you have some salmon, I believe, on the top. Anyway, let's try this out here. That one's really good. All right, let's try the next one. So the inside has avocado, spicy fish, tuna, and then it's topped off with sriracha mayo. Let's try this out. I would say sriracha mayo, but it's spicy mayo, so it could be any hot sauce. But usually it's sriracha, but bottoms up. I don't know what that smoky fish is, but it's nice and salty. The spicy inside. Oh man, that's so good. I'm gonna try the last one. The last one's the same thing. The difference is the sauce on the top. It has yuzu and garlic aioli instead of mayo. Let's try this out. Personally, I like the first one more. All right, guys, perfect. So this right here is the ramen. They actually have ramen here. The interesting thing about this ramen is the shoyu broth actually comes from the Ropa vieja that they make, which is the shredded beef that we had. They get the broth from that, mix it in, and cook it for like 6 hours. So I'm really interested in this. Also, they serve it dry, and then they pour the broth on the ramen itself when they get to the table, so everything is still nice and, not dry, but you know, everything still has its consistency. With that said, my wife decided to pour a little bit more on top, so it does look a little bit different than it normally would. Regardless, let's check this out. All right, so this is the ramen right here. It has the fish cake narutos, it has the egg, it has some mushrooms. I wanna show you guys this. This is crazy. I mean, this is a pretty big, thick piece of chasu, which is nice. And then the broth itself, and then of course we have the noodles here at the bottom. But enough of that. Honestly, the biggest thing I want to try is the broth, because that's the most important thing besides the texture of the noodles, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of broth here. Let's go ahead and try this out. All right, guys, bottoms up. This is my wife, so I'm only gonna have this, but I want to say it's really good, but in all honesty, it's really strong. So I really taste that Ropa vieja in there. It is extremely strong. With that said though, it's still pretty enjoyable. My concern is if I was eating this whole thing, I think like after a few bites, it might get on the salty side because it is a little bit salty. And try a little bit of the noodles. They're very thin noodles compared to like ramen noodles. So I don't think these are ramen noodles. I think they literally look like either angel hairs noodles, but they're really, really thin. And because that broth was so hot, unfortunately, they did lose their form a little bit. There's no elasticity in it. They're almost on the verge of being mushy noodles, unfortunately. So with that said, it is something that's a little different, and it's something that you might enjoy. Maybe put a little less broth on it when you first get it, because they leave the container with all the broth on the table, so you can add more or put less, however you want. All right, guys, all in all, this place is way better than I thought. I'm gonna be right off the bat and honest with you guys. This is way better than I thought. The sushi, the plantain makes it really overwhelming in a lot of them, being completely honest. You still taste everything, but you know, the plantain's flavor is really strong. Maybe if they slice it a bit thinner. I love plantain, so regardless, I enjoyed everything, but maybe somebody, if you're coming here for a sushi experience, I wouldn't suggest it. This is more of, you wanna maybe try something new, something different, you might like it and you might end up coming here. The quality of the food is really good. The ingredients are really good quality. Those ribs are to die for. I would highly suggest you getting those ribs. The ones that we got today were the kimchi guava ribs, but they do have a teriyaki if you're more of a simple, or you like that a little bit more. I mean, everything was pretty dang delicious. I don't think there was anything that I didn't typically enjoy, so definitely a good thing. I would 100% I would come back here, especially if I have like people visiting and I want them to try something new, show them something a little different. I would 100% recommend this place. With that said, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the time here as always. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in every week. Do me a favor and hit that like button for the algorithm. It's really gonna help us out. And it's gonna allow me to do more videos like this where I have a ton of different variety of food when we're eating in the restaurants. But enough talking. I will see you guys next Sunday, and until then, let's just keep on eating.